You're listening to The Ride to Work with Pastor Fred. Fuel for your faith before you clock in. Enjoy the ride.
Good morning, and thank you so much again for joining us for The Ride to Work. It is Tuesday. And we are so very happy that you have decided to ride with us while we are on our way to make that pay. Come on in here, somebody. Listen, we're dealing with this week. Stop fighting what's finished. Stop fighting what's finished. And we're still in our character study situations. I just say our character study situations because we're dealing with their situations, not really the character themselves. We're dealing with what they've endured, what they've encountered, what they've survived, how they managed, how they handled things that they have dealt with, and trying to make it relatable to our situations today. And today we are talking about Samuel. And you can find Samuel's study in 1 Samuel. Watch this, 16. Start at verse 1 if you want to and just read the whole thing. But this episode is entitled, listen, Stop Resurrecting Dead Things. My, oh my. Got a lot of folk trying to play Jesus out there, playing God. Resurrecting dead things. How long? Because that's what God asked Samuel. Asked him, how long are you going to mourn over Saul, being that I've rejected him? But how long are you going to grieve what God has already rejected? That's the question I'm asking you. See, because sometimes things that you're praying to revive, that's the very thing God is trying to replace. You using life-saving tactics to try to revive something that God said, look, you need to let that stay dead. That's done. That's over. Listen, we understand if you know the story. Samuel loved Saul. He loved Saul. When the people were asking for a king, and this is who God gave them. God gave them Saul, and Samuel went and anointed him king. So Samuel had a close relationship with Saul. He invested in Saul. He believed in Saul. But you know what? Saul's season as king was over. And Samuel just couldn't let go. He couldn't let go. So God asked him a powerful question at that. He said, look, how long will you mourn for Saul? This is God asking his man. How long are you going to mourn for this man? Huh? In other words, how long are you going to stay emotionally parked in a place that I've already moved beyond? That's what God is asking. And he's asking some of you right there today. How long? See, that's a question a lot of us need to hear. How long will you mourn the relationship? The missed opportunity? The version of life that really never even happened? How long that the friendship, the position, the dream? How long? And I'm asking, and I'm not saying this because I'm not saying the pain wasn't real. I'm not saying that at all. It hurt. It was something to be dealt with, but how long? Because your future is waiting. It's waiting. I know you're saying, look, man, I invested so much into this. I get it. You sure did. You did. I gave it my everything. You sure did. Man, I thought it would work. I know you did. And sometimes, despite all of that, it's still over. It is. You see, people often confuse acceptance with agreement. And here's what I mean by that, because I want to go a little deeper in this. See, accepting reality doesn't mean you liked it. It means you stop fighting it. That's what that means. It means you stop fighting it. What ended doesn't always need an explanation. It doesn't. It's just over. You just sometimes simply need to accept it. That's what you need to do. But here's the problem. Hear me when I say this. Here's the real problem. And if you can, if you're able to, jot this down physically. If you can't, jot it down in your mind. See, a lot of people are spending today's energy trying to resurrect yesterday's season. You're wasting a whole lot of energy trying to bring something from the past back to life. Listen. It ended for a reason. Whether you accept it or not, whether you think it was a good ending, fair ending, or whatever, it's ended. Because I'm not talking about something fresh off the block yesterday, last week. It's some people that are mourning years and years of stuff that they're just trying to just dredge and dig back up. And the sad thing about it is sometimes the very situation, or I'll even make it a little more closer to home, the very person they're trying to resurrect has already moved on. Ain't even checking for them no more. The very situation they're trying to bring up that may have hurt them so much in the past, you're still allowing something dead to hurt you right now. I remember we used to go, and we used to always, be scared to go through the cemeteries, but then we were young, we were kids, we would ride through the cemetery, running and scared and everything else, but it was fun to us, and we'd do that. I'm just trying to, I was young, we would do stuff like that. But I know my cousin would always say, man, they dead, ain't nobody gonna hurt you, they dead. What they gonna do? And this is what I'm saying to you this morning. I mean, what? They're gone. Let them stay gone. What can they do to you? Because it's not that they're doing it, you're doing it to yourself, trying to resurrect the old lie, trying to keep living through the old pain, the old confusion, the old situation, the old drama, the old scandal, the old stigma. When folk done moved on, and I'm not even thinking about that no more. You need to understand, look, just like God was implying to Saul. He told him, look, I got somebody else in the wings waiting. Just like I'm telling you, there's another situation in the wings waiting. You got to take your eyes off what's been and start looking at what's coming, what I've already prepared for you. God told him, look, take your eyes off Saul and start looking for David. Stop staring at what left and start preparing for what's coming. This is what I'm trying to say to you this morning. See, God wasn't finished working. He wasn't finished working at all. Listen, it's just that Samuel was staring in the wrong direction. That's what was going on. Let me give you this example. You can't receive a new text message if your phone screen is frozen on the old one, right? I don't care what kind of phone you got, Android, Apple, whatever it is. You can't receive a new text message if your screen is frozen on an old one. Sometimes life requires clearing the screen. And that's what I am begging some of you to do. Clear the screen. If you don't know what the screen is, as far as what I'm talking about right now, clear your mind of that clutter of the past. That's your screen. Clear your heart of that emotional trauma that you had to deal with years and years ago. I get it. But you're not going to receive any new thing if you don't clear your screen. Clear it. and watch what God does in your life. Watch what he brings to your life. Watch who he brings to your life. Watch how your life will change if you just clear your screen. Listen, you can't step into what's next while negotiating with what ended. And I'll leave on that note. Thank you so much for joining us for the ride this morning. We'll be riding again tomorrow. God bless.